Welcome or welcome back to my channel. This is Reads with Lauren. My name is Lauren and it is so great to have you here with me today. Today I'm going to talk about books that I'm planning on reading in September. I have 12 books that I'm hoping to read this month. Some of these you may have seen before if you are a returning viewer, but I have to get some of these actioned. And I've broken this down into 3 different categories. So the first category is what I'm currently reading. The second category is books that I'm planning on reading for the Herkyard Challenge, which is the hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. I will link in the description the original video about this reading challenge. The third category is just because they've either been on my radar for a long time and I'm hoping to read them, or they're just really something I want to sink my teeth into very quickly. So the books I'm currently reading, I am currently working my way through The Vampire Lestat by Anne Rice. I finished Interview with a Vampire back in July, and this one I actually have been reading since the start of August. And I'm really angry that it's taking me this long because I love the Interview with a Vampire series. I love the TV show. I love the movies. I remember though having this same issue the first time I read these books. I think I read the first 3 before I gave up just because it took me so long to get through them. I think I keep thinking that they're not as long as they are, but I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's not like I'm not enjoying it. I really, really am. And I love that it kind of gives us a bit of history on some of the other vampires and their stories. And so I can't wait to finish it. I'm hoping to finish it within the next couple of days. I feel like I must be near the end. I've kind of got it in a Kindle edition that's got all of the books from the whole series. It's really frustrating because the percentage is not accurate. And so I don't know where I'm up to, but I do know that I'm really enjoying it. I have been enjoying it the whole time I've been reading it. It's just been taking me a long time to get through, but loving it. I can't wait to finish it. I'm also reading Atlas of the Heart. I have to read this, so bear with me. It's just such a long title, but Atlas of the Heart, Mapping Meaningful Connection and the Language of Human Experience by Brené Brown. I have read some of Brené Brown's work before. I've listened to her TED Talk. I've watched her Netflix specials, and I absolutely love her. I think that she is amazing. She has absolutely revolutionized my life. I'm so grateful that I found her when I did. So I have really been enjoying this one. The only reason that I haven't finished it yet is because I'm listening to it on Spotify. And at the moment, as I'm working through the Herkyard Challenge, I have been using Spotify to gain access to books that are being released in this month as they are being released, because that is one of the prompts in the Herkyard Challenge. So if you're not aware, you only get 15 hours of audiobook time within your membership with Spotify. And so I'm trying to prioritize, obviously, the ones that will be ticking off a prompt because I want to get this challenge sorted. But it does mean that, yeah, Atlas of the Heart has had to kind of take a step back. The book that I'm hoping to read for the challenge this month is the new TJ Klune book, which is the second House of the Cerulean Sea book. I can't remember off the top of my head what it's called, but that'll be coming out halfway through this month. So I'm saving my hours for that. And then once I finish that, if I've got some time left, I will finish Atlas of the Heart. But I have really enjoyed it so far. I have also been reading The Highly Sensitive Person, How to Thrive When the World Overwhelms You by Elaine and Aaron. This is a book that came out in 1996, so it's definitely not new by any means. However, it's new for me, and I have been finding so far this year that I have been greatly overwhelmed with just life in general. And it's been a lot. So when I saw this book, I thought this is a great one to try. And I'm about 70% through it, but the biggest takeaway that I have is that I can now call myself a HSP. A highly sensitive person, but also I relate on a spiritual level to chips covered in meat, sauce and cheese. So that's been my favorite part to take away so far. But I also love the fact that it's basically going over the fact that, you know, even though you're overwhelmed and you're highly sensitive, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. And tools to be able to work through that overwhelm, especially when it's really, really bad. And mine has been particularly rough the last couple of months, and I'm trying to navigate my way out of it. So this has been really beneficial so far, and I can't wait to finish it. For the Herkyard Challenge, I am hoping to tick off a couple of prompts this month. And one of the prompts that I want to tick off this month, and I've been hoping to do since the very start, I started this like in the in July, so like on the 7th, I think, and I haven't gotten to it yet, but I have a day coming up soon where I'm hoping I'll be able to do it, and that is to read a 500 plus page book in a day, and I have been keeping this one to be able to do that. So this one is Hard Time by Jodie Taylor. If you are not a repeat offender here on this channel, Jodie Taylor has quickly become one of my absolute all-time favorite authors. I started off with this series and I read the first book and I realized that there was a whole heap of backstory and context I didn't know. So I found the original series, smashed through that so fast, and then I reread the first book with that context now known and so loved it. It was so good. So I'm really pumped to get into this one. I've been wanting to read it for months, and the only reason I haven't started it yet is because I'm hoping to get it done in a day. So I really want to give myself a full day where I am at home, I don't have much to do, so that I can actually finish that goal and tick it off. It is very sci-fi. There is a lot of time travel. The original series is about a group of people who travel in time to document what actually happened. This series is based on the Time Police, and these are the people who had to come in the future due to the fact that time travel became possible for everybody. People were using that to their advantage, of course, so the Time Police had to come in and sort of fix it up so that the timelines weren't completely destroyed. It's very similar vibes to St. Mary's. Actually, one of the characters from St. Mary's is one of the main characters in this, and so there is connection to all of the other characters from the St. Mary's Chronicles. Just can't wait. I absolutely love this series. One of the other prompts is to read 3 books that you've purchased from a garage sale. I'm sort of factoring in op shops and rotary markets as well. I get a lot of secondhand books from those, and so one of the ones that I want to read this month to tick off on that prompt is First We Make the Beast Beautiful, a new story about anxiety by Sarah Wilson. This is one that I picked up because I've noticed the cover several times and really think it's just so beautiful. But also, like I said, things have been it's been an interesting year, and so I'm trying to find anything I can, any sort of tools that will help me navigate this the rest of this year. So I'm really excited to get into this one. I think that I'm hoping that it will give me some more tools to be able to work through any sort of overwhelm and anxiety that starts to come up for me throughout the rest of the year, and hopefully for the future. Another one that I want to read to tick off one of the prompts, and this prompt is to read 5 books from countries outside the US, the UK and Canada. This is an Australian author, so it's also ticking off reading more Australian books, which is something I would like to do. And this one is The Natural Way of Things by Charlotte Wood. I have mentioned this in a couple of other videos that I have done, but this one caught my eye. This was also technically an op shop buy, but it could also tick off the garage sale prompt. But I think that I want to use this one as one of the outside US, UK, Canada prompts, and it is a dystopian. There's 2 women who have woken from a drug sleep, and they are in this remote house in the middle of nowhere, and the only people accompanying them, 8 other women who have also been taken, as well as the 2 armed jailers and the nurse, who considering it is nurse, I don't think that she's very helpful in that sense. And they realize that the thing that is connecting them is the fact that they have all had sexual encounters with powerful men. So this one just sounds so good. When I first picked it up, I thought, you have got to be kidding me, this sounds amazing. Plus the cover is really beautiful. It's definitely very Australian plants, and I love the color. It drew my eye. And when I picked it up and read that it was a dystopian, I was so excited. So I really want to read this one this month. One of the other prompts is to read the lowest rated books on my TBR. And one of those is The List by Yomi Adegoke. This is one that I heard about a long time ago before it was released, and there was a lot of hype around it. I have since read that a lot of people really did not enjoy it, but I'm still going to give it a go. I am hoping that it will be, at least good enough. It has a 3.05 star rating on Goodreads, so it definitely ticks that prompt for me. But it is about a woman who is in this beautiful relationship. They are sort of like a social media couple, and she really fights for women's rights, and advocates for people to escape domestic violence. There is then an anonymous list sent out all over the internet. It is a list of people who have been violent to previous partners, and she discovers that her partner is on that list. So the plot is really intriguing, and that is why it's still on my TBR. So it will be one that I am hoping to get to this month so that I can tick it off and find out if I rate it as low as everyone else. And now to the just because. These are ones that I have been hoping to read for a while. And the first one is A Tempest of Tea by Hafsa Vazal. I actually picked this one up as soon as it released earlier this year. Actually, I don't know, it might have been the end of last year. I can't believe that I haven't read it yet. It's just so my vibe. It's about Arthi, who is a criminal mastermind and a collector of secrets. She owns a tea room that transforms into an illegal vampire bloodhouse by night. There is a heist. I think there are some very morally grey characters. They are going into the vampire underworld. It just sounds so good. It sounds so up my alley, and I can't believe I haven't picked it up yet. So I have to read this month. It is a requirement. If I don't, I'm going to be so upset because that means it will have been almost a year since this was released, and I picked it up to read as soon as it was available. So just not good enough. Another one that's been on my radar for a little while, and this is very time travel-y vibes. If you know me, you know that that is just absolutely my bag. It's one of my absolute favorite genres, and this one is Una Out of Order by Margarita Montemor. This is about Una, who on New Year's Eve in 1982 faints and awakens 32 years later within her 51-year-old body, and she learns that within each passing year she will randomly just jump into a future period of her life, which just seems so cool to me. It's random, it's fun, it's time travel, so it just absolutely sounds like my cup of tea. It's one that I found as I was looking for more time travel books, because the Jodie Taylor books definitely reignited my passion for time travel books. Some other books that I'm hoping to read this month, I would really like to get A Court of Frost and Starlight and A Court of Silver Flames read by Sarah J. Maas. I absolutely loved the first three. The third was probably my favorite of the lot. It took me a long time to work up the courage to read these books because of the conflicting reviews. And I absolutely understand why people did not like these books, but I personally really enjoyed them. So super excited. These ones will center on different characters who were side characters in the first three, but I'm really looking forward to reading them, and I was hoping to get them started last month, but I just didn't get around to it. So I'm hoping this month I will be able to at least get A Court of Frost and Starlight read. I also want to read Queen of the Damned. So I know that I said before that the Vampire Lestat is taking me an absolute age. And I remember the last time I read The Queen of the Damned, I really struggled through it. I think it took me about 6 months, but I wasn't reading as much as I am now. So I'm hoping that it won't take that long. But I also really want to read that before the new series of Interview with the Vampire comes out, because it definitely will be delving into the rock star sort of Lestat vibes from the Vampire Lestat that I'm reading now. And I'm hoping that the Queen of the Damned story will sort of come into that during this third season. So I'm really excited to read this and just get a bit of a refresher on it. And I'm hoping that eventually I will continue on with the series, because last time I only read the first three. So we'll see how that goes. And the last one that I want to read is a Doctor Who graphic novel, because I'm a Doctor Who girly and I have all the graphic novels to slowly work my way through. So the next one on my list is Doctor Who The 10th Doctor Archives Volume 3. I read volumes 1 and 2 over the last couple of months. Really enjoyed them. They've definitely got classic Doctor vibes. The first one delved back into different Doctors, and we got to see a little bit of a graphic novel storyline with some of them. The second one was very much based on villains from classic Who that I didn't really know because I haven't watched enough of classic Who yet. So I'm really intrigued to see what volume 3 will be about. I assume it's going to follow on with that same classic Who theme. I really enjoyed them so far, and should be a lot of fun. So that's all the books that I want to read in September. I'm hoping to read a few more as well, obviously, but these ones are the ones that I'm like, you know what? It's time. It is time to read these books. They've been sitting here for ages. I'm going to try really hard to not go to the library this month so that I don't bring home a whole heap of other books that I then have to prioritize. But we'll see how that goes. I'd love to hear in the comments. Let me know if you've read any of these books, if any of them are on your TBR or on your radar. If you have any recommendations of books that have got similar vibes that you really enjoyed, please let me know. But until next time, enjoy your day wherever you are, and I will see you in a new video very, very soon. Goodbye, my darlings.